Okay, today I am going to show you by request how I put my beads together for my pomanders. There's a few things that you're going to want. One of them is bead wire. I used just silver 32 gauge bead wire. You can get it at any craft store. Floral wire, which you also use to do your flowers for the pomanders. Whatever kind of beads you want. I used 4 main beads. I used a large crystal, a medium crystal, a smaller crystal, and then because my colors were blue and silver, I wanted a blue accent. And then also I bought a whole bunch of, I don't know if you can even see them, they're spacer beads. So those are the 4 beads. I got all my beads at Michael's. Normally I shop at Joann's, but Michael's actually had a better selection of beads for what I was looking for. They did a lot of 40% off sales, so that's how I bought most of my beads. And then you're also going to want a hot glue gun, which I have mine warming up over here, and of course your styrofoam ball. So to start, I cut a piece of bead wire about 30 inches long. I wanted my beads, when they were all done, to string about 20 inches. So you need a little bit of extra just to hang it with. So take the bead that you want to start with. I wanted to start with a blue bead, so I just threaded it on the end. And then you want about an inch to a little over an inch pulled out on the end, because you're going to wrap this around the end bead and tuck it right next to your main wire. And then I'm going to put on a spacer bead. Get one. Put that, and then when I pull it down, I want my spacer bead to go over the top of my extra so that it holds those 2 wires together, and it keeps it so that my bead on the bottom can't fall off. So I'm going to do a spacer, and then I did a small crystal. Done. And again, I'm going to make sure that it goes over that overhang until the overhang is completely covered up. I want to keep doing that because I don't want it sticking out. And between each main bead, I'm going to put in a spacer. It helps add just a little bit of length, and it also keeps each type of bead from sinking into the bead before. It gives it a little bit more definition so that you can really see the contrasting sizes. So I did a small bead, and then a medium bead, and some of the spacers that you buy are going to be, slightly thicker than others. I didn't really worry too much about that. It's not going to make your overall look noticeable with those different spaces. So I did a small, then a medium, and then another small, and then I repeated that pattern 3 times, so I had a total of 4. And then once I had 4 of them on, I took a blue bead, and then a large one. And I had a blue one hug every single large one. And then I just repeated the pattern again, starting with a small one. So when I was all done, my strand looked like this. So I had my blue at the bottom. I did 1, 2, 3, 4 mediums, and then a large. And then I did another 1, 2, 3, 4, and a large. And I kept doing this pattern all the way up until I had about 20 inches. When you are done, you have the length that you want. you want to make sure you have some excess wire. And you're going to take that wire and you're going to twist it around the top bead and push the end of the bead wire into the hole and out the top. And then you're going to pull it tight so that you can't really see it. And this keeps your top bead from slipping as well. You could hold it upside down, they're not going to fall off. Okay. So now I have this extra wire, and I'm going to take some of my floral wire. I want this to be longer than the wire that I cut for my flowers. I'm going to fold this in half, and then I'm going to pull the wire at the end of my beads through the center and down, and I'm just going to wrap the wire, kind of loop it over the floral wire. I'm just going to keep wrapping it over and over again. If you have way too much left over, you can always cut it so you're not having to wrap forever and ever and ever. Once I have it wrapped, now I'm going to twist the ends of my floral wire. Again, just like we did with the flowers. Now that I have this might be a little bit long for the ball, the 4-inch ball that I'm using. For the 6-inch one, this would be about perfect. You want to make them longer than the flowers because you want this to really go into the center of that ball so that stays, because these beads, when you have 20 inches of them, are going to be pretty heavy and you don't want them falling out. Okay, so now I'm going to take my styrofoam ball and I'm going to poke the end of my floral wire into the ball. And you want to make sure it doesn't bend too much, that it goes in pretty straight. Actually, this is a little bit too long. I need to cut it. You'll notice that you'll feel that if it's too long because you'll feel it starting to bend. Try that again. And stick it in. I'm just going to push it until it's all the way in. And it's in there pretty well, as you can see. It's not coming out right now. But just to make sure that it doesn't fall out, I took my hot glue gun and I just kind of poured hot glue into that hole until it spilled out. What it'll do is it'll melt the styrofoam around the floral wire and kind of fuse the floral wire into the styrofoam so that it's not moving. And then I'm just going to let it sit so that the glue can dry. And once it's hard, it's not coming out. You're going to have to pull pretty hard to get that floral wire out of there. So, and that is how I did my pomander beads. Thanks!